So this is the way that we can solve them in the calculator, as long as they're set up like an elimination problem. So you've got your x's stacked together, then your y's equals your plain number. And they have to be in that order. Sometimes you'll be given them in the correct order. We are going to do a few examples where they are not in the correct order and you have to move them around. But you don't have to solve anything. Your calculator does it all for you using matrices. So what we learned in the last unit about matrices, there's something that the calculator does that will solve these systems. Now, if we tried to do it by hand, we did that in advanced, and it's long and complicated. It takes a really long time. Sometimes it's quick. But it's a lot of it's like a puzzle almost. You got to try to manipulate the numbers in a certain way. So we're just going to use the calculator. So what we do is first line up the variables. So it means x's are first, then the y's, and then your numbers. And we want it to be in standard form. So x first, then y equals your number. And then we're going to turn it into a matrix. We're going to take the coefficients and the constant, that's just your numbers. So leave out the variables. And we're going to put those numbers in a matrix. It will be a 2 by 3 matrix. Negative 10, negative 10, 20, 3, negative 9, negative 6. So you need to write this matrix down. And then you go to the calculator. And I have the calculator steps right here. So write real big, calculator with an arrow. Because I don't want to answer 500 times what buttons do I have to push. It's right there. So we hit the second button, which is the blue one. And then this button right here, it says matrix above it. So we're going to hit that button because it's going to take us to all of the matrix stuff. And then scroll over to math. That's that next spot over. It was second. These buttons right here. Second. And then this X with a -1 button. And then you scroll over to math. And then we're going to find where it says RREF in this list. It's close to the bottom, so it's actually faster to scroll up. But either way, you get to B RREF. It has to be the one with the 2 R's. That stands for Reduced Row Echelon Form. And it uses Gauss-Jordan elimination. So a lot of big words that you don't have to know. And then we hit enter, and it should take you to the main screen, and it should say RREF. And then step 5 says to type in the matrix. Do you all remember what buttons to push to get to a matrix? Alpha, zoom. It's a 2 by 3 matrix. And then we type in the numbers. So when I hit enter, I get this. The last column is your solution. So the solution to this system is -2, 0. This is the identity matrix. So basically we took an equation. This was the x, this was the y, this was just the number. So this means 1x plus 0y equals -2, if we kept that same format. So x equals -2. 0x plus 1y equals 0. Yep. Well, it'll be this as long as if you have it lined up correct. So you have the x's first, then the y's, then the numbers. If you don't line it up correct, then no, it won't be right. But you have to make sure they're lined up. So let's just try another one. Let's look at number 2. Are my x's first? Then the y's. Then the plain number. After the equal sign. Yes. So I want you to write RREF, and then I want you to write the matrix that you are going to type in your calculator. Because that way, that's just one extra thing that if you miss it, I can go back and look. Because if you just put 3 instead of -3, you'll get it wrong. You have to be precise with your negatives. So 6, -3, 0, 4, 4, 24. Make sure you are practicing typing this into your calculator. Because when you get to an assignment, if you say, I don't know how to do this, it's probably because you didn't do anything while we were taking notes. So I went to the second, and then the x with the -1. Scroll over to math. Go up or down to RREF. Alpha zoom. Type in the matrix. And then when I hit enter, I get 1, 0, 2, 0, 1, 4. These first 2 columns will always be the identity matrix. That was some vocabulary that you had in Unit 2. The last 2 column, or the last column, is your solution. 2, 4. Okay, if you got something completely different, then you probably typed in one of these numbers incorrectly. So go back and look. 6, -3, 0, 4, 4, 24.
I didn't get the negatives right.
Yep. If you miss that negative, you'll get completely wrong, so you've got to be careful.
What's number 3? They got cut off.
What is number 3? I'll go figure it out. Alright, so that is a 4x right there at the beginning. So I'm going to do RREF. Make sure, I want you writing this down. Not just the answer. I want you writing RREF and then the matrix. 4, -7, -12, 10, 5, -30.
A lot of this will come over the desert.
They don't.
Go back and look and see if you missed a negative.
No, I ain't got both the negative.
Just check all your numbers.
There's 3 negatives.
They ain't, you know. Your 12 should be negative. Like 5, she already figured that
Something different.
So if you get something different than -3, 0, go back Yep, look for your negatives.
I'm done. Slow down.
All right, number 4. Are they lined up correctly? No, they're not. So we have to move some stuff around. So let's start with this first equation. So I need to get my x first, then the y, and then my plain number. If something has to go to the other side of the line, remember we have to change the sign. So if I want to bring this 7x over, I have to subtract 7x from both sides. So that's going to be negative 7x minus 2y minus 17 equals nothing.
Wow.
Because I moved this 7x over.
Why'd you put the 7 in front?
Because we always want to put the x first. These can be, if they're on the same side, you can move them around in any order you want. But we want the x first, then the y, and then the plain number needs to be on the other side.
That was 7 over 2.
This is a negative 7x minus 2y minus 17. But I need to move that 17 over, so what do I do with it? Add 17. And I get negative 7x minus 2y equals 17. It is a little bit. You have to move some stuff. Well, the last 3 examples are all this.
Oh my Lord.
Okay. Now the next one is 7 plus 3y equals 8x. Well, yeah, you got to put that too. So yeah, well, you'll have to write small.
Did you finish that problem after?
Well, I was just getting the equation. We have to turn these equations into standard form, which means x is first, then the y, and then the number. And I stop there because then I'm going to put it in my matrix. So on this equation,
Is this required to graduate?
Algebra 2 is required to graduate, yes. We subtract 8x from both sides, just like I did here. It's the same step.
Well, yeah, because she's actually teaching.
Shh, guys.
Trying to.
So I moved the 8x over here. It just became negative. When you move something to the other side of the line, it changes its sign.
How do you know to add 3y instead of subtract?
It was already a plus 3y.
Right there.
They have a 7 plus 3y, but if you
Right there. What is that?
negative 8x.
Negative 8x.
I mean, you don't know what to put. How do you know what to put in front of a 7?
Well, the 7 was already positive, so I just brought it down as positive.
You about to run out of time.
The 3y
So
was positive. I brought it down as positive.
If it's like a negative 7, it'd be
I would put down minus 7.
plus 3y.
Minus 7. Yeah. Now the 7 has to jump across the line, so I have to change its sign. So I'm going to do a minus 7. If it jumps across the line, it changes sign. Negative 8x plus 3y equals 7. So now I have my two equations that I can put in my matrix.
How is that not a -7?
It jumped line. So it went from a positive 7. When it jumps across the line, it became a negative 7.
Exactly, so why are you
Because I didn't write it down correctly. Most of the ones you do they'll already be in the correct form, but you will have to do maybe a couple in practice, maybe one on the test that's not in the correct form.
like this than the normal ones?
So I have negative 7, negative 2, 17, negative 8, 3, negative 7. So we do RREF and then type in the matrix.
Is it always going to be like an identity?
Yes. If you do not get an identity matrix, that means it wouldn't work. It would be like no solution. But I won't give you any of those for RREF.
I thought identity matrix was just 1 to 0.
Well, this is the identity matrix. But when we do RREF, it has the identity matrix plus a little something else. So, I mean, this whole thing technically, no, is not the identity matrix. But just this part is. So my solution is -1, -5.
Are we gonna have to graph these?
Nope, not these. Nope.
Oh, we double our points,
Okay.
break out the order.
All right, so number 5. We have 8 plus 6y equals -4x. We have to move the terms around. So you don't actually have to write this -7x plus 17. If you can remember that if it jumps the line, it changes signs. So if this -4x has to come to this side, it's going to be a what? A positive 4x. And then, does my 6y need to jump the line? No. So plus 6y. Does my 8 need to jump the line? Yeah. So it becomes -8. That made it a lot easier, didn't it? If it jumps the line, it changes sign. That rhymes.
That's crazy.
But some people might remember it with a rhyme.
They say
What
it's
did you
second
want
grade.
with 4x plus 6y?
It's a 36 month.
The x needed to come over here on the other side because the x is always listed first. So it went from a -4x, it became a positive 4x.
This is
The 6y was already on this side. It was already there, so I just brought it down. The 8 needed to jump across.
It's very big.
Why do you have to use this at the beginning of the year and not let us do something like this?
If I started with the easy and then went to the hard, you would not do it.
You're right.
Yeah, we barely do now anyway.
So then my other equation. Does my x need to jump the line? No, but it's already first.
No.
Does my -8 need to jump the line? No. Does my 7y?
Yeah.
Yes, it's got to come over here after the x. So when I jump the line, it's going to be a negative 7y equals negative 8. Ran out of room. So it's negative 9x minus 7y equals negative 8. Because this 7y was on the right side, we had to bring it across the line. So that's why it became a minus 7y.
Could you just take the negative 4x and put it in front of it? It's a positive 4x.
Yeah.
Like, could you just move them and not have to do all that?
What are you talking about?
So, like, see how it's negative 4x? Can you put it at the front and it become a 4x and then not have to do all that extra work?
If you just know that it's going to become a positive 4x, you can, if you can get this equal, I want to see that you've moved the equation around, but you don't have to show every single step in doing so. If you can remember, if it comes to the front, it changes sign because it went across the equal sign.
Like, switch the 4 and the 8 and switch signs right there?
Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
Minus all that work?
Yeah, that's just what we did. Yep.
Well, that's easy.
So this is 4, 6, negative 8, negative 9, negative 7, negative 8. And type that into your calculator.
Is them first 4 always gonna be like 1, 0, 0, 1?
Yes. If it's not, you probably did something wrong. If you get some really crazy numbers, go check. You could get it's possible that your answer could be a decimal. But it's not likely that I would give you a test question with a decimal. So always check. So we get 1, 0, 4, 0, 1, negative 4. So that's my solution.
Number 6, we got to move everything around.
All right. Number 6. Is everything in the correct order? No. We have to have the x's, then the y's, then the equals number. So
The easiest thing we done was identifying the matrix.
what needs to jump the line?
The 4 and the 5.
The negative 4y needs to jump. Does anything else need to move? No. Only the 4y needs to come across the line. So when I move it across the line, it becomes a positive, a plus 4y. So it's negative 5x plus 4y equals negative 4. On my second equation, what needs to jump line? The x. The 10 is already on the right side. We want the plain number to be over by itself. The x is what needs to move. So I'm going to make it a negative, and the x is always written in the front. So it's going to be negative 2x minus 10y, because that negative 10y just sprang down, equals 10. Now, it actually does not matter which of the numbers you write on top. You'll get the correct answer either way. Negative 5, 4, negative 4, -2, -10, 10. These last two numbers, 0, -1, it's my solution.